Asphalt is a black liquid substance that's a byproduct of processing crude petroleum. It is a key component of waterproofing and insulation materials. It's also used for roofing shingles, but its best known use is for paving roads. Asphalt cement is a byproduct of crude oil, and it's this ingredient that's mixed with crushed rocks and other minerals to make paving asphalt. Production begins at the paving plant's quarry, where some 15 metres below ground, workers driving heavy machinery collect boulders of granite that have been blasted off the rock walls. Trucks transport the rocks to the paving plant, which is right on the quarry site. They dump their cargo into the primary crusher, a machine whose steel jaws crush these big rocks into pieces smaller than 20 centimetres. It takes a huge amount of force to crush solid rock. The flywheels that amplify the motor's energy weigh more than 6 metric tons. The primary crusher empties onto a mobile conveyor belt, which transports the crushed rocks to an outdoor storage area. When it's time to make the asphalt, the rocks travel via a conveyor belt from the storage area to a screening building to be classified by size. There, the rocks tumble downward over a series of inclined screens, whose largest holes are 10 centimetres across. Pieces too large drop through and go to a secondary crusher that reduces the rocks to 10 centimetres or smaller, then sends them to a third or tertiary crusher that further reduces them to 2 centimetres or smaller. Rocks small enough to pass through the screens bypass the secondary crusher and go directly to the tertiary crusher. After this last crushing stage, the largest stones are 2 centimetres in size. Everything smaller than 5 millimetres goes in one pile. That includes stone dust created by the crushing process. Stones 10 to 14 millimetres in size go into another pile. Stones 5 to 10 millimetres into another. Trucks transfer material from each pile to separate compartments called feed bins. Exactly what goes into the paving asphalt depends on what's being paved, but generally, these are the 4 ingredients. Sand, stone dust, 5 to 10 millimetre stones, and 10 to 14 millimetre stones. The ingredient proportions vary according to what the paving asphalt will be used for. Stones, along with sand and stone dust as fillers, usually make up about 95% of the mix. The remainder, added later, will be liquid asphalt cement. Each bin releases a specific amount of material onto a conveyor belt running underneath it. The belts lead to a main collecting belt that dumps the combined ingredients onto yet another belt that leads to a dryer. The drying process, which takes about a minute, removes all traces of humidity. This will enable the materials to bond better with the asphalt cement. Screening equipment then re-separates the dried ingredients, making it possible to weigh out precisely the required amount of each one. Everything then goes into a mixer. As this demonstration shows, the mixer blends everything thoroughly. Then it's time to pump in hot asphalt cement. Oil refineries make asphalt cement from what's left over after they've processed crude oil. The paving mix contains about 5% asphalt cement. So, if you want to make yourself a paving asphalt cake, take 1 healthy portion of hot asphalt cement and stir well. The ingredients should bind in around 30 seconds. The mixer empties directly into trucks destined for the paving site. There, a paving machine will spread the hot asphalt on the roadbed. Then a compactor roller will pack it down. After about an hour, the asphalt will have cooled and hardened, and it's then time to hit the road. Loved to many as the Marshmallow or mallow tea cake, this classic of our time comes courtesy of the ancient Egyptians. They invented marshmallow candy by thickening honey with sap from the root of the marshmallow plant. The marshmallow inside this delicious dome contains gelatin. How it's made brings you a tasty treat. It's the dream job of many, doing quality control in the marshmallow cookie factory. The snap test is required to make sure the coating is hard and thick enough. Then the taste test. Well, somebody's got to do it. To make a batch of dough for the cookie base, they mix wheat flour, salt, baking soda and powder, cornstarch, whey powder and potassium sorbate. Then they add several liquid ingredients. This one causes a chemical reaction, making the biscuit lighter. This cream-coloured liquid is vegetable oil shortening. This transparent liquid is glucose fructose, a sweetener. The ingredient proportions are also a company secret. From the mixer, the dough goes into a machine called the chipper. It shreds the big blob into pieces about the size of the cap on a highlighter pen. This makes the dough more manageable for the next machine, called a rotary mould. Inside that machine, a large roller flattens the dough pieces, forming them into a dense sheet about 1.5 centimetres thick. It then presses this sheet against the roller, whose surface is a cookie mould. The factory uses the rotary mould machine for many different types of cookies. It simply installs the appropriate roller for the tasty treat in production. For marshmallow cookie bases, the mould cavities are circular. The bases exit the rotary mould and make their way onto a moving baking sheet that transports them to an oven. The baking time and temperature are once again top secret. The baked cookie bases exit the oven and move onto a conveyor belt that transports them to a cooling area. Once they cool to room temperature, the bases go into a machine called the base feeder. It lines them up like marching soldiers to receive their marshmallow filling and chocolate coating. The process does require military precision. Factory technicians have to adjust this machine daily to ensure to-the-millimetre accuracy. A portion of filling has to land perfectly centred on each base, finishing off in a curled peak, this brand's trademark. The company won't divulge how much marshmallow filling goes into each cookie, nor will it reveal its marshmallow recipe. But marshmallow is usually made from either corn syrup or sugar and gelatin. And now for the final layer, the chocolate coating. Not only are the marshmallow and base covered in hot melted chocolate, the base floats in it, which coats the underside as well. Built-in air jets blow off the excess. The chocolate hardens inside a cooling tunnel. How long that takes and the tunnel temperature are, you guessed it, classified information. As the cookies exit the cooling tunnel, a quality control worker checks the product. Sadly for this worker, there's no taste test involved here. On the packaging line, the cookies go into plastic trays. To keep up to speed, the workers have to grab 4 cookies in each hand without breaking the coating. The trays pass through a machine that wraps them in plastic film. This keeps the cookies fresh and also prevents them from falling out of the tray. Meanwhile, another machine assembles the boxes, first folding and gluing one end shut. Once workers load the trays, the machine glues the open end closed as well. Then, with the go-ahead from quality control, the box's next stop is your local supermarket.